I want to be a cowboy, basically. But as it turned out, I followed in their footsteps. But for a long time,
as you were kind of getting started in your career, were there any challenges that you had that were maybe unforeseen or foreseen and that you had to overcome that were pretty major?
I don't.
Well, at least
I try, but I'm probably my own worst enemy when it comes to that because.
This episode of the Breakthrough Podcast is brought to you by Orange Visuals. OrangeVisuals.com is a premium marketing team here locally in Columbus, Ohio that specializes in helping top producing real estate professionals compete at a high level. Whether you want to maximize referrals, repeat business, grow your branding, our team can help you do so through premium video content, which we help you film, edit, script, produce, the whole 9 yards. You can use our own personal studio, or we can go to your location. We also have a team of dedicated professionals, photographers, videographers, editors that can produce high quality listing marketing. You can go on our website, orangevisuals.com, schedule your booking. You can book all kinds of different services. Everything is delivered in 24 hours. orangevisuals.com, premium listing marketing and video content to grow your brand. Scott, thank you so much for joining me today for the Breakthrough Podcast. I'm excited to hear your story. It's a pleasure to have you.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here and glad to have you back in.
Thank you. So I have a lot of questions I wanted to ask, and I'm excited to listen and hear from you. So kind of take us back a little bit for anyone that might not know. Who are you? What do you do? Just for anyone that is hearing about you for the first time.
Sure, and a lot of people probably are. My name's Scott Street, and I'm with Street Sotheby's International Realty. My mother and father had a company called Street Realty Company. I took it over in 1998, and then we joined Sotheby's International Realty as a franchisee in 2006. So that's kind of who we are now. We've gone at that time from, I think we had 8 agents, we now have 65. The brand has been a big help for us in that regard.
Sotheby's.
Right.
Gotcha. So your parents started out in real estate.
Right.
But you weren't always in real estate, is that right?
That's correct.
So you growing up, you watched your parents working in real estate.
Right.
But your specific vision, what did you have in mind growing up? What did you want to do?
I want to be a cowboy, basically. But as it turned out, I followed in their footsteps. But for a long time, I managed beer and wine distributorships here in town for probably 20 some years. And even though I was licensed to sell real estate in 1972, I did it more on a part-time basis. My mother and father were operating the business back in those days. So I just kind of took off with it. And I think it was in 1998. I knew I was going to make the move back into real estate full-time, and 98 is the year that I actually did it.
So why did you choose to go back? What was so appealing about real estate that you're like, I want to go back into that?
It just made sense for me since it was in the family, for one thing. The other thing, it's very rewarding to help people do something that is so important to them. You know, buying a home or even a commercial property is one of the most important things and one of the biggest expenditures people ever make. And so to be part of that and to see people satisfied and excited and being the one that actually helped them do that, to me, is very rewarding. Mm-hmm. And I always felt good about that.
And so it wasn't necessarily that you weren't satisfied with what you were doing beforehand, you just were wanting to go back into it?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that I was going to eventually get back into it. Mm-hmm. And when we started off, it was just myself and a couple of our family members, and that was it.
So 1998.
Right.
You step back into the office.
Right.
What are you doing? What is your approach? How are you getting business? What is your role?
Well, actually, I was a one-man band at that time, at the very beginning. We're working out of my house and out of the den there until we opened up an office. I think probably in I don't even know what year it was now, over on Zollinger Road. But so we were there for 7 years, and we moved into this office. But at the beginning, I was just smiling and dialing. You know, I was calling people, just trying to get, even though I had done some business in the past, it wasn't something I was known for, even though my family had been in it. So I had to really kind of educate myself a little bit further and just start letting people know what I was doing and what my future was going to be. And it just kind of worked out.
Really? Was there a lot of competition? Or did you have to, Was it harder back then, or is it easier back? Was it easier back then? How was it back then?
I think it was a lot easier back then.
Really?
Yeah, I do. It's a lot more competitive today. A lot more people doing it. A lot more different companies are in our market right now than there were before. At that time, maybe there were 5 or 6 franchises. Now there are tons.
And I'm also assuming because there was no internet, like there was no Zillow back then, people
No.
were even more reliant on an agent
Right.
to find something.
Very true. At that time, for the longest time, we used the MLS books instead of being able to get online and look at properties for sale in the MLS. We had books that we would get once a week, and that's what you went through and looked at.
And how long did houses usually sit on the market?
Well, there were times, it was just like this. There were times when it would be really strong. There were times in the early 80s when the interest rates were up at 19% that not a whole lot was going on. And so that shook out a lot of people that were in the industry and took them into different directions. So when it started picking back up again, and it does, it's an ebb and flow type thing. It's going to always be that way, probably. But I'd say the last 5 years have been really, really strong.
Strong in locally or nationally?
Nationally and locally. We are stronger locally now than the national averages that are happening right now, mainly because of where we are in Columbus, Ohio. It varies between the 3rd and 5th fastest growing market in the country, not the largest, but the fastest growing. And as far as apartments go, there are from time to time, we are the number one, Columbus, Ohio is the number one apartment market in the United States.
How do you look at Columbus right now when you just see Columbus in regards to the nation? Do you see it as a confident city to live in and it's going to continue growing, or what do you see when you look at it?
If you drive around town, just drive around 270 or 670 and look at what's coming out of the ground as far as condominiums, apartments, whatever it may be. It's a very, very strong market. And I believe it's going to continue. We've got so many people coming in, companies, as everybody knows, Intel's here, and a lot of companies following them in to support their infrastructure. So I think we're in a very, very good market right now.
Do you think in general people are understating or overstating, let's say even Intel coming to town? And that's not the only thing that's happening.
Right.
The impact that that's going to have on Columbus and the growth that people are foreseeing, is it understated, or do you think it's going to be much greater than people even imagine?
I don't know that it's understated yet, but I think it could be much more than people could imagine.
Really?
Because it's interesting, and that Intel is in and of itself coming is a big deal. But I don't know if a lot of people realize how many other companies are coming, following them in to support them. And that part of it is major. And it seems like the Intel people are moving kind of all over the city. Lots of different companies are representing them. And so it's not like they're just staying in one specific area. So it's going to be I think a big thing for Columbus, Ohio.
So if you were in the shoes of an agent today, with all your experience, knowing what you know now and then looking into the future, the different changes that are coming, what would you do as an agent today to be successful? And what do you tell your agents in your brokerage that they should be doing?
I think it's like anything else. It's hard work and staying after it every day. I mean, there are so many things that go on in this industry right now, and it's changing every day. A lot of our MLS procedures have changed from a national level and local level, and you have to just stay with it and stay on top of that game all the time, because it can be a little bit frustrating as you get through the process and think you're finally getting on top of the game. Then things change, and you got to stay with it. I think hard work, and don't be afraid to spend money against it, especially if you're doing well. If you're doing well, that doesn't mean you just sit back and rest on it. I think it's important to spend money in marketing yourself and your teams, if it's a team, or individuals, or the company as well.
What are you doing in terms of marketing yourself? How would you suggest an agent would do that? Because if I remember correctly, there's 10,000 agents just in Columbus, and there's so many people that they're betting against, they're competing against. How would they stand out in this market?
Well, I mean, I think it goes to the 80-20 rule that 20% of the agents do 80% of the business. Is probably true in our city too. Just because there are that many agents doesn't mean they're all active. They may be licensed active, but they aren't really participating in a lot of cases. And I think it's a matter of just finding your niche. There's always something, an area of town maybe, we try to sell all over the city, but we spend most of our time, I would have to say, in the Upper Arlington, Bexley, a little bit New Albany, and Dublin. So find out what works for you, what price ranges work for you, and our brand lends to the we market to all price ranges. Our marketing is for all price ranges, but it really is geared for the high end luxury market.
Yeah. So, as you were kind of getting started in your career, were there any challenges that you had that were maybe unforeseen or foreseen, and that you had to overcome that were pretty major?
Well, they're always going to be those. I mean, I can't think of any specific challenges, but I think when we got into, actually, I can. The biggest issue, I think, at the beginning when I was managing the business was recruiting, because we had just gotten back in and gotten started again. Didn't have a whole lot of clout, honestly. We were a street realty company, and we were trying to recruit, but it took us a long while. But once it started and we were able to prove ourselves, it started to snowball a little bit, and we were able to grow to, I think, a reasonable number of associates right now. And it's nice because this is like a family. Our companies run like a family business, but it's also, and that's how we treat and feel about all of our associates, whether they're administrative or licensed agents or whatever. We always, it's always a family feel here.
Would you say that there was ever a moment where you wanted to give up or go a different direction in all your years in real estate?
Not really. I mean, I always felt like I had a pretty clear vision of where I wanted to be. I wanted to have multiple offices, which we do. We've got 4. We're looking to have at least 2 more. So we have 2 here in Columbus, 1 in Bexley, 1 in Upper Arlington. And then we have 2 up on Lake Erie, where it's vacation land, as many people know. We have 1 in Lakeside, Ohio up there, which is a Chautauqua community. And then we also have 1 in Catawba Island. So I wanted to have multiple offices. We started off with the Upper Arlington office, and we're able to grow through that to the other 3. And hopefully now we'll grow into a couple more.
That's awesome. So from your experience, if someone is building a business and they have many people, many responsibilities, and they're at that stage where they now need to start delegating tasks. They've gone from being that for one agent, many years or several years of hard work. They have more than they can handle. What is your advice to how do you properly delegate and make sure that quality is still done? The service is of high quality, but you're also not spreading yourself thin.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. There's 2 ways to look at that, and I think agents do look at it this way. First of all, you need to have more than just you. Okay, it's got to be an effort from a team perspective. I think a lot of people have teams now. Obviously, they do. But the other philosophy is, instead of having a team, some agents I'm talking to now, we try to work with them to try and develop their business the best way we can to help them. Some of them want to just be managing other folks underneath them. So they can hire their own admins, they can hire their own people to do whatever it is they may want to do, yet they're the ones actually making the call as far as the homes that they're selling and how they operate their individual business from that perspective. So it's either have a team where you have partners, or you be the one managing partner and have people that work with you to develop that further on.
Is there a preference in one you think is better than the other?
I think it just depends on the person. I really do. I mean, some people, want to have members of their team that are in the same capacity, and some would rather be that person that just runs that show, and everyone else is, basically picking up the slack for them.
That's awesome. So when you're in a position where you're hiring a lot of different people, you have different offices, what are the challenges? Because maybe this is even so relevant towards like a specific realtor, but when you're in a position where you're managing different offices, how do you, at that point, you're not able to be involved in every decision. And I'm interested in in my perspective, like when I'm building my team, how do you make sure you get a manager or a team member that is able to take the ideas you have and implement them in your business so that you're not micromanaging them and things are getting done?
Well, I think it's communication. And letting people know what you expect and what you'd like to have done and what your goal is, what you want to see this look like in 5 years or whatever. And so if they understand that and you stay with them all the time and let them have their input, because that can be really important. I certainly don't have all the answers, that's for sure. And so I really depend on the folks that I work with here. We have a great team of managers and agents as well. So I'd like to listen to their feedback, because their feet are, ears are to the ground, listening to what's going on in the market every day. And I try to do the same, but it's important that I can get that feedback from them. So we work together as a team to try to develop a concept of where we want to be.
That's awesome. And what do you think in your brokerage specifically, your team, that you guys are doing that's giving you a competitive advantage to other agents? And what do you guys think that you're doing differently?
I have to say, it's from my perspective, we've got people who work hard, but it's branding. It's our brand. And it has really taken us into areas that we wouldn't have been in right now. So it's got a very, very good name, a high-end name, quality name, and people respect it. And I think it's opened up doors for us that would never have been opened before.
That's awesome. Now, kind of switch up the gears a little bit.
Sure.
As a business owner, you're running you have a lot of different things going on. How do you personally stay accountable and disciplined to make sure that you're on top of things?
I don't.
Well, at least
I try, but I'm probably my own worst enemy when it comes to that, because I like to have my free time, and but at the same time I like to work hard, which I do. When I work hard, I work hard. When I play hard, I play hard, and I kind of try to separate it that way. But the nice thing is, in this business, you can be doing both. So we can access our business from anywhere, like most people can these days. It works in our industry as well to a point. So I think it's just a matter of managing your time, making sure that you're having enough, time on your own. You have to have some free time. And even though you're working hard, you got to be able to relax and enjoy what you've accomplished.
What advice would you give to managing time? Because especially in real estate, it seems like there's an endless to-do list of doing things. How do you choose what to do, when to do it, how to prioritize, how to just keep track of everything?
Well, we have systems for that. We have a thing called Dot Loop, which almost everybody in the city uses, some type of management system like that, where you have dates on certain contracts and timelines and so forth that we track daily. And it's just whatever's coming up that day. You just got to make sure that if there's a timeline that you have to meet, whether it be from a lender or from whatever it may be during that transaction, that you're on it.
What about from the business side? Not in the transactional of real estate, but how do you manage the business side of it, where you're managing your ideas, your goals as an organization? How do you manage what you need to do there? And because that's not a contract kind of. Right.
Well, I think you have your goals and they're set. You just kind of watch day by day to see if they're being accomplished or if you're heading in the right direction. You may not go from A to Z, in a week, but at least if you're moving in the right direction and letting your people know what you're trying to achieve and they're on board, then you can just kind of watch it day by day and see where you're going.
So
I'm not sure if there's really a perfect answer to that.
You could give insight, because that's one of the things, like I personally, it's a challenge where it seems like there's a never-ending list of things to do.
Yeah.
And it grows as your business grows.
It does.
And so it's like you figure out a little bit, and then your business starts to exceed that. And so now you're trying to figure out how to, part of it has to be with how you manage your personal time, but the other part is you just have to hand it off to other people, I'm asking those questions because I'm personally.
No, it's a great question. I remember when I first took the company over, I became moderately busy and maybe somewhat successful just on my own by working hard. But I remember all of a sudden things started happening, and I was within the first 6 months I was getting overwhelmed to a point, and so I had some people that were helping, but it was really tough at the beginning. It was very rewarding. It was a great feeling to know that I was pushing all this stuff out, and then some of it was coming back. And as it came back, it grew and enabled us to really drive the company into something that more than we expected it may be.
So now, I'm going to ask you as if you're the real estate expert, which you are.
I don't know about that.
Let's say there's an entrepreneur like myself, and let's say down the road I want to invest in real estate. What advice would you give as like a first step to someone that wants to invest in real estate, whether it's rentals or, I don't know, maybe I should be trying to flip? I hear different opinions from all kinds of different people. What would Scott say is the best route to take?
I would say that whatever works for you. I think flipping can be great. It's a lot of work, We've been into more of the multifamily properties. My mom and dad were into that, and I've been into it. Our family's been into it. We're even trying to grow that a little bit more right now. But I think real estate is, I guess because I've been born around it, I just think it's one of the most stable things that you can be into long term. And of course, like everything else, you have your ups and downs. But as far as the rental property market, it's saved us in a couple of really down real estate markets. So I would encourage anybody that's going to be in it to not just be selling homes, but to look at everything else that's around you. What else can you do to supply income should there be a tough time? And there will be, and there always has been over the years, and you always recover from them. But if you have something else in real estate, like investment properties to manage and so forth, it can be something that buffers your problem.
How do you decide if a specific property is a good investment property? Do you look for like sweat equity? What do you look for in a property?
Not necessarily sweat equity, and that's always good if you can find it. If you can buy it right, that's always a good thing. We look at areas. We had some. Most of our apartments are in Upper Arlington and Grandview, and then we had some in Obetz, and that just wasn't a good fit for the portfolio we had. I think we had like 10 units out there. We ended up selling those and brought that money back into this area because it was just we knew this better, and so it felt like a good move for us.
So there's no like specific number. You're basically just looking to buy in a good area that you know is going to appreciate. So
yeah,
you're essentially buying at market value.
Yeah, well, you're going to be now, because you're not going to be getting any fantastic deals on multifamilies right now that I know of. But yeah, I think that's the thing. You just want to check it and spend time looking what the areas that you're in, what the buildings need, have them inspected, and just see what the rents are and what the rents could be.
Awesome. So is there anything that you could share in looking back through your years, and there's maybe a young entrepreneur out there that's getting started in real estate or even in business in general? What would you recommend to them in general, and any advice that you could give to them?
Someone who wants to get into real estate or investing? Investing?
Yeah.
You just start. I would say the biggest thing is just start somewhere. I bought my first property this July 7th of 1977. Believe it or not, 7777. So it was a lucky day.
There you go.
That day I still own it. I paid $42,000 for it. It's probably worth about $500,000 now, but I've been having passive income from that all these years. So that's a long time ago. And I would just say the best thing is start somewhere. Once you get started, you can maybe begin to leverage some of that. There's a lot of people who do a lot more of this than me. I'm a small potatoes guy on this, but just enough to know that kind of how it works. So I think that, again, just make it happen to begin with, and then you'll start growing it and see where it leads you.
Final question.
Sure.
Where are you going in the future? What are you excited about moving forward?
I am really excited about the industry. Today, you hear a lot of negative things. People are thinking maybe that real estate, because of interest rates moving up, has been really hurt as far as residential sales and so forth. And that's here in our market in Columbus, Ohio, that's not what we've seen. So we're still rocking and rolling. We're getting multiple offers on properties still, just as we have the last 3 or 4 years. Things are moving right along. And we'll have to wait and see what happens when the interest rates do finally bounce down a little bit, which I hope they do soon. But I would just, I think that we're in a very strong market. I think it's going to stay that way for a while. There's too many good things going on here in Columbus for it to just begin to fail. It's just not going to, in my mind, I don't think that'll happen.
So you're excited about building the team, the brokerage,
yeah.
seeing where it goes. You mentioned opening new offices.
Right.
That's exciting.
It's very exciting, and we should have done it long ago, but we're working on it right now. We're going to be moving into two different areas at least. So we have confidence in it. It's expensive to do that. So we believe that it's still a great time to move real estate here in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, and then if you ever decide, you can still become a cowboy.
Yeah, still may do that.
Scott, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure.
Great to see you, and thanks so much.
My pleasure.
Bye.